the last time I sent out a little hint, I actually did a voiceover recording with Inner Workings, which is the short before Moana. And there's this guy, if you know the background, the director is half Brazilian and half Japanese, and so he has this kind of internal cultural blending fight internally, where part of him wants to be studious and hardworking, the other one part of him wants to play. And I thought that was a great metaphor for so much of what we experience in life for work-life balance. And I had a couple of the UpDoc interns. They asked me, how do we do it? How do we have so much drive to continue to do what we do for hours and hours on end? Because there are days that, because I'm here on the West Coast and we have a lot of East Coast clients, and so I'll be up East Coast time equivalent, but I'm still up until 12, 1, or 2 a.m. Pacific time. Like, how do you continue that drive and not completely burn out? And the secret is you wrap your life, you wrap your life with the work that you do, so that it becomes part of your lifestyle rather than making work become your life, which is where I think most people fail when it comes to any semblance of work-life balance. And there's an argument that there isn't any. I think about a year ago or so, I argued that if there is a work-life balance, the work-life balance occurs vertically, not on a plate. Because we think of work-life balance like a juggling act or a balancing act of a plate that seems to be constantly spinning. So no matter what you add or take off the plate will continue to spin out of balance. And I propose that there's actually a way to look at work-life balance as a vertical stack, kind of like a Jenga piece, where you're just putting stuff on top of itself. And so long as you can keep moving, keep that balance flow, you'll be okay. And I think it's important to frame all that with a story I loved sharing around the time I took my sabbatical. I hit this high wall in corporate maneuvering. I just stopped. There's nowhere else to go, and I completely burnt out. My son was just born, and I realized, this isn't for me. And the story I heard that really resonated with me is the story of the fisherman versus the businessman. And you might be familiar with it, but I'll give it a go. The story goes like this. There's a wealthy business person, say an MBA from Harvard or PhD in economics or whatever. He goes down to Mexico and he sees this fishing village, and this is part of his tour of Mexico, and he's enjoying himself. And he sees this impressive situation because he went out for a morning jog, and he got some coffee in the morning, and he's watching this fisherman pull out with his little boat, and then he comes back in with a couple rather large fish. He assumed must be like yellowtail or tuna or bonito or something. There's something there. And he goes up to the fisherman and he starts to ask with this inquisitive business brain, how often do you do this? How many fish do you typically get? And are you selling this at all? And why don't you go out earlier? Why don't you go out for more? You can make some money, sell this at the fish market, all that kind of stuff. And so the fisherman starts to ask this question back, and he goes, okay, well, I could do all these things, but why should I do that? And the business guy from, say, Harvard goes, well, if you start making extra money, you'll have profits, right? You can start to invest, and you can start to save, and then you can you can turn one boat into two boats into four boats, and you have a small fleet of boats that can go out. I mean, tuna is a primo fish there, and you can make a lot of money, create your own company. Then you can move to America, incorporate it, and then have an IPO and create a multi-million dollar fishing company just based out of this tiny little village. And that'd be amazing. And the fisherman goes, okay, well, I guess that'd be good. But why would I go through all those steps? And what about the rest of my day? And so then the business guy goes, well, what do you do with the rest of your day? Well, it's like, well, I wake up when I need to. I go fishing and bring enough fish so that I can sell to the village and then feed my family. And that's all I need to do is once a day, once every other day, I go out and get some fish, and that's good enough. And then what do you do with the rest of your day? There's so much of the day left. I was like, well, I play with my kids, I have a siesta with my wife, and then late out into the night, my buddies and I pull out our guitars and we sing and dance and we drink tequila and we do it all over again. It's just the fishing village life. And the business guy goes, well, that's good, but you're wasting so much time. In between, you should be fishing and you should be pulling this stuff in. You should be canning the fish. You should be marketing. You should start a website. You should do all these different things. And the fisherman goes, well, I mean, I get all that. I'll make more money. I'll have to take care of employees and that kind of stuff, and then eventually establish a publicly traded company. But then what then? I was like, well, eventually, once you grow this company large enough, you can hire your own CEO and you can step back as the founder and you just have passive income because you have all this money coming in. And then you can retire. And the fisherman goes, what's retire? And the business guy, well, you'd be able to take it easy and you would be able to, step back in life. I was like, well, what does retirement look like? Well, I was like, well, I don't know. And the fisherman goes, well, what would you do if you retired? And the Harvard guy goes, well, I guess I would settle down in some village where it'd be in a tropical place, and I'd bring my wife and my kids, and we just kind of wake up whenever we need to, and just just play and spend time together, and take naps, and then maybe we'll go out and listen to some live music and have some wine and just enjoy life. And the fisherman goes, that's what I'm doing now. And the lesson isn't about the money. The lesson is about the lifestyle. And it was a lesson that I had to learn the hard way, which was it's not necessarily, we all have to pay our bills, but it's not necessarily the dollar income that matters in the long run, because in the long run, much of that stuff doesn't last. But what does last are the experiences that you have. There's some cool studies out there that tell you to invest in experiences rather than in things when it comes to how happy and fulfilled you are in life. And that is then the secret to the work-life balance, which is you have to wrap things around the core of your life. So you have to ask yourself, what is the core of your life? Is it you? Is it you and your immediate social circle? Is it your family? Is it your marriage? Is it your career? Is it a business goal? Is it a personal goal? Because those are great. I have a personal goal eventually, hopefully in the next, say, 4 or 5 years. I hope to get a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I hope to be somewhat decent at Thai boxing. Hopefully. I'm not a natural athlete, but I have great team members and I have a really good coach. And I know that if I plug away in time, I should be able to get there. And those are life goals for me that to me mean something very special. And the core of my life surrounds, of other things, right? Disney, Star Wars, that kind of stuff, right? And which really is the core for my family, because our family culture is so just delved into Disney, guys, right? Disney, Star Wars. So, all to say, let's make sure, I'm pretty close to the time, all to say, if you wrap the way you make income, right? If you wrap the way you generate household revenue, and if you wrap your labors and your work around the core of your life, then there is no problem with work-life balance, because it's already stratified in a way that makes sense to the way you are and who you are. It no longer becomes this, I have to get up so early in the morning and drive out and do all this stuff, and I have to go over here, and my boss is going to make me bill units I don't believe in, or I'm going to go to the hospital and I already know some of the senior therapists, they're going to slack off while I work my butt off because I'm hopefully going to get a raise this year, but they don't need one because they've got raises for the last 10 years. It doesn't become that kind of thing, right? And whether you're in healthcare or not, whether you're in whatever industry you're in or not, right? If you just look at how you bring in money, how you work and make a living, and if you wrap that around the interests of your life, it no longer becomes work. It becomes life. It becomes play. It becomes fun. It becomes meaningful and purposeful. And burnout is never a question because you're living for the purpose that you set out for, rather than you're working to fulfill that purpose. So I hope you enjoy this, guys. Thank you for joining me for this Relate Nate episode. I'll take it down and edit it and clip it together and put it back on YouTube. If there's anything you want to talk about, please let me know. I have, I think, let me count it. I'm looking at my sheet right here. I have 260 more relationship-driven stuff. So I think I'm going to move into that soon. There's some really cool things to talk about in terms of relationship stuff. One of it, actually, we discovered is fighting. Fighting is a natural part in any kind of relationship. Conflict really is the word. Conflict is natural in relationships. But how do you deal with it? And how do you make conflict make you stronger rather than it making you weaker? How do you make conflict so that it strengthens the bonds, it strengthens the links between people and between social spheres and between, intimate relationships, rather than having it shake it up and break it apart? And how do you do it so that you don't fight over the same stupid thing every single time? So I think we're going to talk about that next and kind of shift Relate Nate into more of the relationship-facing aspects that I've been wanting to talk about when I launched this project this year. And, you know, keep me honest and make me consistent. I really respond to you guys when you guys give me direct messages and feedback. So thank you so much. And thank you for joining me again. I'll talk to you soon.